This is the meeting of the Black and African American cohort of the Montgomery County Anti-Hate Task Force. We have a scheduled meeting to begin at 2 o'clock, and we shall proceed. Thank you, Selena.
Okay, thank you. So I like to share my screen, but it says the host has disabled the participant screen sharing. So can we enable that? And we should probably practice this for our Thursday event, so we will have ability to share screens. Stand by for Selena.
Do you have it, Lisa?
Let me see here, sharing my screen. I do now. Let's see, edits combined. So as I was saying, I was going through the edits that were provided. I have had a full workday, so I haven't been able to add everything, so I do apologize for that. But I would like to go through the screen one by one if I can. So the first addition that I made from Director Stowe is adding him, because I somehow mistakenly did not include him. So I added his name to the members of the task force. And then going through, this is all the same. Who are we? The history. It would be helpful, Reverend Boney, if you could add some more about the peonage of sharecropping. I'm not sure what you wanted to, if you wanted to add something specific about that.
Yeah, it was to the story here is that slavery, the blacks were freed, but they're still under a sort of servitude. The sharecropping, they were bound to the land and didn't receive the fair profits they were supposed to receive from the crops. The Jim Crow circle, all of this is just
Reverend Boney.
Yeah.
Could we say, sorry to interrupt, but could we say the peonage of sharecropping work to extend the servitude and enslavement of Black and African American people?
Yes, that's fine.
Say that again.
Peonage of sharecropping work to extend the servitude of and servitude and enslavement.
Yes.
Of Black and African American people.
Yes, that's great. That's great. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
And servitude, that's not a word, is it?
I'm sorry, servitude.
I think servitude is a word.
No,
servitude is the word, right?
Servitude is the word.
Of Black and African American people.
Yeah. That's all it's
Does
saying.
that sum it up somewhat, Reverend Boney?
That's all it's saying. So quick, moving on. Yeah.
And I'm gonna delete. All right, so that's done. I'm gonna save my document.
And if you want to do that so they can be presented by anybody, the Jim Crow segregation would be definitely separate but not equal.
Yep.
Right. So then this can be presented by anybody.
Yep, separate but not equal, right?
Yep.
All right. Numerous lynchings of Black and white by whites without a trial. 200 bills were presented to U.S. Congress to outlaw. Okay. All right, that's good. All right, moving on to the next slide. Who are we? Any edits to this one? I'm gonna do big breath.
I don't have any.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Can't argue with the U.S. Census.
Okay, you were saying?
No, I was just saying I can't argue with U.S. Census data.
Okay.
And the Pew Research, that seems to be right. So
Lisa, did you receive the one that I sent? I wanted to make sure that one of the things I thought you incorporated our stuff great, but the kind of like the who we are and the history kind of got mixed up, and I thought at least whoever's presenting it, if we could separate the two so that it flowed from, we talked about who we are, then we talk about history. I think it presents smoothly. I'm not sure.
Okay, so so what you need to do is just tell me in an email what slide order you want to go. I'm gonna
Yeah,
re-
yeah, that's I've done that. I sent you an email with like move this here, move that
Okay,
there. Yeah.
I'll do
And
that.
then I sent you a copy where I've done that and to say this is what it should look like.
So the reason why I didn't use your copy is because the people had already sent me edits, and for
Sure.
version.
No. I just wanted to send one
Yes,
where I did so that you can see, what I'm talking about,
right.
what went where. Right.
So
Yeah.
what I'll do is I will take a look at your copy, do a side-by-side comparison, and then I'll make sure, and I'll try to get that done tonight. Then we can recirculate so we can make sure.
That would be great. That would be great. And that's the version 3 that I just sent that we talked about. That's the one to use.
Okay. Now
Okay.
I'm gonna do a little stop here because right now the slideshow as we have it is an hour-long presentation.
Oh, really?
Yes, I just want you guys to think about that as we go through because it's going to be an hour. So, and that's if we get a good flow, it could be more people ask questions. So just something to think about.
Okay.
Hey, Lisa, how did you arrive at that time?
Because you have 40 slides. So if you do a minute and a half, or normally you would do 2 minutes, right? For each slide, and some of them are going to be longer. Because you have to explain the slide, it's going to take longer than 2 minutes.
Wow, you think longer than 1 minute per slide is possible? Really?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we'll practice if you want to
Yeah.
test the theory. And then the other thing is Tiffany's video is 7 minutes.
Oh, God.
So that's that.
So
So
we're already down to 23 minutes. Yeah.
right. So you have to do 40 slides in 23 minutes. And that's not
Wow.
considering because I have to add some more because I'm still taking in people's edits.
Right.
And so you're gonna have and what you could do is instead of talking, you can say, okay, who are we? I'll give folks a minute to talk to read the slide and then we can move on. That's it.
Right.
But if
Yeah.
you
Right.
try to
Yeah.
read everything, it's
Yeah.
No,
I agree.
no,
I
no.
agree. And
right
actually
here is 2 minutes.
kind of give people targets. Like, you got 7 minutes.
Lisa, I would say, you are good at this presentation stuff. I talk very slowly, I'm methodically, and I think, I took Reverend Boney's comments last week to heart. You really considering one person doing this.
Mm.
So I would strongly, consider that you do it. You're a fast talker. You're putting all of this together. But I hesitate saying that without the input from the others. But I don't need to talk, and that's for sure. So a lot of our work is going to come in the final report anyway, and everybody will get credit. So
Yeah, I'm the same. Especially like with what we were doing and like you added words onto the slides. And so yeah, so the slide got to talk to itself, talks for itself. Want to hit certain things and keep on moving. So yeah. I'm for the one voice kind of thing. I really am.
yeah,
You should get input from everyone. I'm happy to do it. I just want to make sure everyone else agrees. So
right.
okay. So I just said that was my training timeout. So this slide we went through, which was good. All right, let me make sure my computer can keep up with my mouth. All right. And Reverend Boney, I'll fix it so that it's the same. And this slide again, I like the picture, by the way. That was a great ad, Reverend Boney.
That is great.
Thanks.
Okay, and then I have this, and then I added this one in here.
Yeah. I think that actually what I did is I moved that up front to be before we go into our history. When we start talking about slavery, you don't have to do it now, but when you see my version 3, you'll see where I led it, because it kind of opens up the discussion of why are we even talking about history of slavery at this point in time.
Okay.
And my whole thing is here that slavery was used to move a new country to be a world power off the sale of tobacco and cotton. And then after the Civil War, nothing was done to help the freed blacks to move up to the same level as their whites in the country. And that's where we are now. And even our efforts to try to move ourselves comes into that other list that we talked about with the sharecropping and all that other stuff that's meant to keep us back.
Understood.
Can I make just a comment, and it maybe it's not necessary. You know, certainly I think this is the gateway, the main entrance to hate and bias. Is there a word or two we can say that makes that connection?
As it
Or is
relates
that,
to slide or to another slide?
no, as it relates to the theme, because
Oh, you said that in your, sure, again, you're adding a slide.
oh no, but that would mean altering Dr. Marsh's submission here. But I just
Well,
wanted to make sure.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't, because Dr. Marsh submitted the picture, right? And she had words, but her words were kind of different than what I was trying to get across. And
Right.
so there's another bullet here that does some kind of tie-in. You give us some words, Ron. It's you know, if we just add that bullet on.
Okay.
No.
I would say it was this original sin charged with hate that continues to be the gateway for hate and bias incidents committed against Black and African Americans.
Of course. And Lisa, I'm sure, can shorten that shorten that.
Yeah, she can shorten that.
Shorten that.
Okay, let me fix this. I hate looking at things. Let's see how we got, make this 18. Okay. I'll play around with that. All right, so no one had comments about this, but I do want
to need that slide. I'm asking. My comment was, do we really need that slide?
We may, I mean, it might be on the chopping block, but I guess it's a good way to couch the basis for our recommendations and our research.
Okay.
So it's a good way to kind of capture everything, but I'm happy to delete it if you think it's not necessary. So
well, my it's not that it's not a good slide. It's that if we're trying to condense slides, yes, it's the methodology that we use, but now that we're presenting, do we need it?
It's gone.
What do you mean, the methodology slide, Reverend Boney?
Yeah.
Take that out?
That was, well, it's a question. I'm just asking the question.
Oh no, I love
we're
that.
Trying to cut slides.
I love that. I mean, there'll be more to cut.
Okay.
I love this one because it informs, that our work is credible.
Okay.
So what a lawyer would do. So lawyers who are like, oh yeah, that's good. Okay.
Evidence.
All right, so here we have this slide here. No edits to this as far as I know.
Yeah, the only thing I did to this one is I put Black Ministers Conference survey. And then that's in the write-up to you. It says that. That's all. And it just goes right in your thing here. Yeah.
Write this down just in case. And edit, so I have it. All right. Okay. Another data slide. Okay, moving on. This was our hate in Montgomery County at churches.
Yeah.
There's also a nice picture there too. I like that.
This is good stuff here. I like that part.
And then this is your state of Maryland bias report. I'm sorry, I skipped one. This was your state of Maryland, your first slide for state of Maryland bias report, which delineates hate bias incidences by county. And then you have it.
That slide really tells us that, based on the numbers, that we've got a problem right there in Montgomery, right here in Montgomery County in total.
Now,
so Lisa,
This is what I've heard over the state. The reason why Montgomery County has the highest numbers because we feel more comfortable reporting.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but if you just look at the
We got
report,
issues. Yeah, we got issues.
yeah,
Yes,
got
sir.
issues.
Yes,
we
Mr. Ron.
got issues. Hey, Lisa, can we, I don't know if you had it already highlighted, but can we highlight Montgomery?
I tried to do that, but because it's a picture, I can't.
Well,
Oh, I see.
what we could do is like a star or pointer. You could point to that line.
Okay.
You know the symbols that they got. Yeah, there you go. You could point to that line and make it
What
smaller.
color do you want it?
Smaller pointer, right? That's a big sword, right?
Oh, come on. Okay, I made it bigger. Okay, let's see.
That really
I mean,
indicts the
smaller,
go-
smaller. I'm thinking smaller.
Trying to go the other way.
That really
I'm thinking
indicts the
smaller.
county.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Big
smaller.
arrow.
Okay, let's make it yellow. Oh,
Okay.
that didn't work. I'll work on this. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's smaller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too small. That's the wrong point. We want to go down here. Okay.
Yeah. There we go.
I'm gonna move it so it goes to Montgomery. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving down to your
Yeah. I really think this is a really important slide because it says that the number of hate bias incidents, the motivation of the ones against blacks is like 43%, which is almost 3 times the next highest group.
Yeah,
Our
Yes.
Jewish brothers. So
we
that's
should say that.
that's a significant point. That's that our number is 3 times the next highest group.
Yeah, we should say that, Lisa. Somehow some verbiage on that or language. That's necessary emphasis, I think. Yeah.
I think so. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Save. Okay, let me just save this right quick so I don't lose it. Okie dokie. So now we're moving on to 15. Ron, I know you sent me a chart, so I will add that chart.
Right.
Okay.
And for the top one, Lisa, I took that right out of the MCPD 2022 report. And so I will lift that up and send it to you. And then I have not given you the next bullet, which I apologize for because that hasn't been reported in aggregate. But I'm going to lift those numbers from the individual monthly reports leading up to last month. So every month they publish on their site the number of hate crimes committed.
Okay.
So I apologize. I'll get that to you no later than this evening.
Okay. Yes.
Lisa, before we go forward, can we go back to that one, the chart with George on it? Yeah, that's what I wanted to point out is the second bullet. I didn't have the data of the TBD, the blacks that were killed, well, the people that were killed in Montgomery County, how many of them were black. If we don't have that data, we should delete that bullet.
Yeah, I have a note here that we need to add that. So
Okay, I don't have the information.
Well, Reverend Boney, did you?
That's the police.
Fine.
I'm sorry. Did
Okay.
we? I didn't mean to cut you off, Lisa. Did we want to qualify that as the number of unarmed black men killed in Montgomery County?
Yeah.
Because I know there were at least 4 over the last 2 years. I had put them in my original long PowerPoint, but I didn't give Lisa the names.
Yeah, and if you're covering that, then we don't need to have it here. So especially if I don't have the
Well,
data.
yeah, I'm not necessarily saying that in my piece, but I mean, if you say it up here, I don't need to say it. So,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the first number is a national number, but I was just
Right.
wondering of, do we have any data for Montgomery County itself? That's all.
Yeah, we do. We do. I can pull
Okay. I just wanted Lisa to know
names.
that that's a whole that I
Yeah.
had
It's
left.
at least four. It's at least four of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that I had left because I didn't have the data.
I have a track change right here. You
Okay,
can't
all right.
really see it, but I put a note to myself.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we were over here. We were right here, and then we went here. So I have top one was taken out of MCD report, but Ron owes you the next bullet. That's me talking to myself. So I'll wait for you to hear from you, and then whether or not you want to keep that in. So then after I sent it to you guys, I like to have a color change. So I added some of the, I kept the language, but I just added it in red because I thought it just came out a little bit better.
Yeah.
So no remedial action, racial slurs, no action was taken. Now, to Ron's point, some of the so the anecdotal stories that I have, I think pretty much all of them, they are from people who complain but don't want to have their they don't want to be identified in a public document that's going to be shared without limitation.
Okay.
So I can say something like that. This has happened, and if anyone has any specific questions, I think we can go back to them and ask. This particular couple testified before the Committee Against Hate Violence in the spring. So they do have some public knowledge, some public exposure, but I wouldn't want to put them out blast without first.
So you want to protect their privacy. I would just say in the interest of their privacy, we will not reveal.
But if the county has or people have an interest in like the state's attorney's office, if they want to pursue it, we can always go back and ask the complainants. But I know for this particular couple, they may not want to, and actually none of the people that recommended that told their stories would probably want to share if they had to put their names to it. Okay, so this is your Ron, this is your statements about law enforcement and the process, the judicial process, about how the state's attorney is unwilling to prosecute fellow Black people, leading to distrust. So basically it gets the point across that even if we have the laws, they're not going to be effective if they're not enforced.
Right. Yes, that's important.
And I may take out MoCo and put Montgomery County.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Is this one about a trend about young white males' prejudice against Black people? So this is also a Ron slide, and it reads very well. So I just copy and paste it.
Yeah.
Now it says graph here. So
I don't have a graph, Lisa. What I meant to put was a citation to the MCPD 2022 report where they explicitly say what I just said.
Yeah, and there is a graph in that report. I mean, like I say, you make the statement, and if you reference it, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a graph on that, Reverend Boney?
Yeah.
Of
There's a
white
graph.
male
There's a graph in
perpetrators?
there. There's a graph in there that talks about how many of these incidents are performed by white males, how many by white females, how many by Black males, and all that. That's all in one graph.
Okay. All right. I'll
And
see
the
if I
high
can
number
find
is those that are performed by white males. So yeah, that is there.
But they definitely say that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I say may add a graph and may add a citation.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, the other thing too is this is just our presentation. So to the extent we want to include information like this in the report, I agree we need to definitely have a citation, even if it's anonymous, interview on, the 5th of February, so that we have some basis for our statements.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is a slide that I added after, doing work with, we're having a lot of anti-Muslim, anti-Semitic activity, but I saw this and it struck me as very interesting in that this is from Chief Jones. In this response, he says, the Montgomery County Police Department has taken steps to enhance the safety of our Jewish community. And that really spoke boldly to me, one, because there are a lot of other possible victims of the conflict that it doesn't acknowledge. And it also mischaracterizes the events that are happening that affect the Black community. And it also mischaracterizes the conflict because it's not a Palestinian conflict. And we do have our brown brothers and sisters who have really been concerned about what affected the conflict you have on the Muslim community. And so I'm getting a lot of emails about, we're talking all about anti-Semitism, but we're not talking about the Muslims. And I also wanted to let you know, I reached out to Kay Chance, who does the interfaith stuff, and I asked her for specific information about the percentage of percentage of Muslims in Montgomery County, because we have a slide about them being 1%, but I think it's greater for Montgomery County.
It is, yeah.
I wanted to not downplay that because I think it's important because we're seeing a lot of traffic about Black folk being concerned who are Muslim.
Are you asking for data with respect to the percentage of Muslim faith or Muslim people?
Muslim faith.
Okay, because I thought I saw that number to be 25% of the religious community.
I will not be surprised.
Yeah, it's huge.
Mhm.
It's yeah. I live in the middle of 5 mosques myself over
Right.
in each county, so it's just a lot. So Lisa, I would ask though, and you're spot on this. But and I think everybody's torn by this and the responses. Especially the response that even our school superintendent received for allegedly not saying enough.
Right.
Is this something that I guess it is something we should take on?
What's I guess I'm trying to understand, is the police chief saying that other people think that he's preference against Blacks or for Blacks or against Blacks, bias against members of the African American community? I don't understand which one it is. Is it for that these incidents in the Jewish community and the Muslim community is causing people to overlook what's going on in the Black community, or focusing
I don't
on the
think
Black
he's
community,
saying.
overlooking other things? I don't understand.
I think he's not saying that. I think what Lisa's saying is that what he's saying could be misconstrued in favor of Jewish people. But I think though what the chief is really saying is that we've had increased incidences of anti-Semitism. This recent war has now escalated it, and now we're increasing police presence
Okay.
around religious institutions. So, but can it be said that they're doing the same thing around the mosques, or what?
Right.
Have they asked for increased protection?
Yes. And in
And
fact,
are they receiving that?
well, I think that they are. I think the problem though with the statement is it says they're taking steps to enhance the safety of our Jewish community, and that what's left out of the statement is what about the Muslim community, which will
Yeah,
necessarily have an effect on the
yeah.
Muslim community.
I don't disagree with you. It just concerns me how the possible blowback of politics, even on a situation like this.
I that's a possibility. So maybe let that one marinate, because I have gone to the Muslim Community Center and talked to mosque, and they're concerned that the Muslim lives don't matter. And
Oh
again,
no.
most of the Muslims, oh yeah, at least twice. And and we saw the little boy who was 6 years old who was stabbed in the heart. And we also know that CARE, which is the organization that supports the Muslim faith politically and legally, they had to cancel their annual meeting in Arlington, Virginia, because they received bomb threats, and now they're having their annual convening secretly because they fear for their own safety.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we need to be providing assurances to all of our communities. I guess that's the point. And so when you make a statement like this, and by the way, a Jewish leader brought this to my attention.
Oh, really?
It might be at the exclusion of others. It is definitely controversial. So we can take this slide out altogether if you think it would be too much.
Yeah, I'm wondering why. I'm wondering why. Yeah, this is a controversial kind of thing, and I'm wondering if we want to. What do we gain by introducing it in our section?
Because it affects Black people, and that's what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Muslims are in our intersection, in our cohort. So, and I think it's one, Lisa, thanks for pointing this out. I mean, I didn't see this, and I think it is important. I'm just trying to rationalize the context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do we alienate
We
people
could,
in the Jewish community by touching on this?
well, what we say, and well, anti-Semitism is a problem in Montgomery County, so is Islamophobia.
And so, I think Reverend Boney, the words can appear. I think it kind of is a
May I say something here, please?
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to figure out the words. I think what we're saying here is that messaging from the people that are to protect us is the problem, right?
Yep.
So I think that should be stated explicitly. The problem is the messaging and what messaging does. Does that make sense?
It does, but it also, someone indicts the police department and our chief. And
It should.
I don't think that was his intention.
Yeah,
It's
that's
never, but it's,
what do we
but
really
it's
gain
never,
by taking this on? I
but
don't.
it's never their intention. It's the world of, please think about this in the future. Because it's never their intention to harm, but we're making recommendations. This is a recommendation. Be conscious of how you message this.
Well, okay, well, let's stop there. So therein lies maybe how we approach this.
That's what I'm trying to say, Ron. Thank
like
you.
the word-
I couldn't think of what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I like the word careful in how you, maybe how you craft this a statement.
Right. Because we're
Even
not
though-
saying Jewish people are
Right.
they aren't affected. We're not even saying that the police are doing this intentionally.
Right.
But moving forward, be conscious of how
Yeah,
messaging
we
looks
must be
to these
conscious
groups.
or careful
That's
in our
it.
messaging about, right.
That's it. That's what I'm trying to say. Reverend Boney, does that sound a little bit better to you or still concerns?
Well,
We're trying to figure out why we take it on.
and the
Right.
first one says Montgomery County Police Department messaging again appears to be biased against members of the African American community, and I'm going, okay, by what we're saying here, okay, I understand what you're saying, that part of the Muslim community happens to be Black, but it's like, and I'm just even wondering, the amount of time that we discuss this, trying to understand it ourselves, how we plan to get a meaningful statement across in a short time to someone else without it being misunderstood.
Oh, I do it all the time. That's what I do for my meetings. But let me just say this. I put on here a table, but I do want to just make, when I had my NAACP meeting, there are a lot of Muslims in our group, right? And so
Right.
they are part of who we are. And if we're saying that 25% of our religion are people who practice Muslim faith in the Black community, it's 25% of us.
Well, why don't we say members of the Black African American community who are Muslims?
Yeah, I mean, in other words, ascribe it to them.
Yeah.
Instead of to the police department.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think I kind of lost you all there. I'm sorry. What were you wanting to do?
The way it's coming off is that our cohort is the complainant.
We are the complainant, though, aren't we?
Well,
we are
part of the cohort.
Are.
Yeah, the Muslim. I don't know. That's a dodge too, I guess.
Okay, but let me just say this to you as a,
I know, guys.
let me say this as a Christian, all right?
This table.
How many Christians do we have on this call right now?
All of them.
Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. Let's be careful about optics. I put on your table, this chart may need to delete, because I think that I can bring this out too through the Committee Against Hate Violence. It's already on my agenda for November.
But see, this is the problem, Lisa. Bias is something that is weird, and it affects weird places, including our media and our messaging, our school curriculum. It is a thing. That's what bias is.
And let me just tell you, let me tell you the context, and maybe it'll make you feel better. So we had a very serious conversation in our last meeting about anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. And the
Mhm.
problem I think with this anti-Semitism is we hear about it all the time. It's always in our
Yeah,
face.
right.
We don't hear about Islamophobia as much as we could or should. And so
Right.
like
Mhm.
we have this child who was stabbed in the heart, and also
Yeah,
lost a rabbi too in Detroit. So we're
Mhm,
losing
mhm,
yeah,
leaders. So
yeah.
it's not that
mhm.
so all people, I think the idea is that Muslims want to feel that they are also being protected by the police, just like Black people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you, Lisa.
But I,
You know,
it's
you know what? You know
sensitive.
what, when the,
Yeah.
yeah, but you know what, just to go back, when the Jewish cohort gave that presentation, I
Minister
felt,
Farrakhan, they talked about it.
I
was
felt a
thinking it
certain
when
way
you said
about
it. I was
Kanye
thinking
and
it.
Farrakhan, and wow, you know,
And I
Farrakhan
was
just
gonna
filed a
say,
$5 billion, he just filed a $5 billion lawsuit against ADL.
but Ron, I was gonna say that. I was just trying to be more academic, but nobody cares about blow back when it comes to African American communities. We tend to want to care and lose allies, but sometimes you have to lose allies to get things done. I
Yeah.
don't want to, but we're suffering and literally dying. And so I'm not so concerned about their feelings. I'm sorry. But I am harsh. So I just didn't want to say that.
Well, I agree. I mean, if we believe it's true, then why would we hide the truth? I think I'm
That is
stuck
what this
with Brother
committee's for,
Boney.
right? And,
Let me-
yeah. And
say-
I think and I think Lisa did a great job saying that it is a problem. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if it needs to be in there because nobody else is saying that Black racism is a problem. But again, I can be very harsh.
that's right. And when our numbers are 3 times higher than the other numbers, it's
Yeah.
like you pick your battles.
So I just can't be nice about
At
it now
least
because we are literally dying.
I think we keep it and then we revisit it. Let's move on. You got to go at 3. So
I do. All right.
Yes.
So the
Yeah.
other thing I did was I pulled some accounts from the police report. So I added the slide so you can get mad. Tiffany, I said we're at an hour now for our presentation. And so we need to
An
actually,
hour.
we need to delete slides and not
that's
add.
without your stuff, Tiffany.
So no, that's with her stuff.
Well, that's
So
with her stuff. Okay,
yes. So these are
we
some
got to
of
cut it down.
so maybe I'll take out, but these are some of the, because the other thing I heard Director Stowe say, which I don't think he realized, he said, well, most of the issues are anti-Semitic in schools. It doesn't work that there's anti-Black, and that's simply, that evidence doesn't prove that. So I want us to be careful about that narrative, and also talk about how anti-Black hate is a problem in our county. But we don't have a lot of time, so I had 2 different ones. So I'll have you guys look at that and tell me if you want to, if you can highlight the ones you think, or if you take the slide out altogether. But
I
there's
like all of them because they have references as well. I mean, you got case numbers. The second one maybe not, but the last one.
but these are all part of the report. The reason why I don't have case numbers is because they didn't give them, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Another comment. But so that's what these are. So those 2 are them, and they're all anti-Black. And some of them actually, a lot of instances I saw, they combined anti-Black and anti-Semitic. So the interesting thing about that is maybe we can partner with the Jewish community to figure out how to bring about change
Yeah.
for anti-bias
For
activity.
graffiti and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so now, Tiffany, your file is so large, I couldn't embed it.
Really?
So I got an error message. What do you guys see now?
I see the link. I mean, you could copy and paste it, but that's strange. I didn't have a problem at all. What do you use? I'm sorry. What do you use for
I use PowerPoint. So PowerPoint embed something in YouTube. So what I'm going to do is go back to you. I'm going to share my screen again.
Yeah, I frequently have shared things put things in that are much larger. So that's really strange.
Well, I'll try to do it from, okay, so this is Tiffany. I'm going to stop talking.
Oh, this is the rough draft. Okay.
Is that Cohort of Montgomery County's Anti-Hate Task Force. Thank you for joining us this evening as we shed light on issues related to hate and bias within Montgomery County Public Schools. Let's get started. For nearly a century, schools for Black students in Montgomery County and throughout the South were denied the benefits provided to their entirely separate but supposedly equal white counterparts. In 1954, the unanimous Supreme Court decision in Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka changed the face of public schools forever. For the most part, integration in Montgomery County happened smoothly, if not slowly, and its school system was declared fully integrated by 1961. 70 years after Brown versus Board of Education, hate and bias and de facto segregation by race, ethnicity, language, and income continues to undermine student achievement in Montgomery County. MCPS community members believe that we over-discipline students of color. According to the chart on the screen, 87% of students who were recommended for expulsion in 2023 were African American or Latino. African Americans are the only racial ethnic group that is significantly overrepresented in suspensions relative to their total share of the population. They make up 21% of total school enrollment and account for 48% of suspensions. There continue to be concerns around the classroom experience of African American and Black students. According to the data provided by MCPS, the academic achievement of students who are Black and African American is significantly lower than their Asian and white classmates. The cohort recently had a listening session with MCPS that included nearly 100 MCPS students. The district detailed the efforts it's making to address hate and bias, but the students' experience sounded considerably different than what the district was describing. Please listen to our students explain in detail what they face in reporting hate and bias incidents.
It's going to be about social workers because obviously there's not like much awareness about them within our schools, and I feel like they're better suited to deal with these incidents rather than school counselors because they have to deal with like college recommendations and all that, so they might not be able to have time or know how to handle that. So I guess on top of that, last year we did have some issues with hate bias, but when we spoke to our principal, if we wanted to like report it, we would have to go through this very long process. Like he gave us this paper and it's like you have to fill out a form, you have to wait for that form to go in. It was just like a whole lot, and then it kind of made it seem like if you wanted to report it, then it might feel like it's too much. So is there, I guess, going to be a way where you can report what happens to you and then like have the adult like have a more hands-on approach rather than like having it all on the kid?
No, I was just going to ask Ciara, just to pivot back, did you get a response if you made a complaint? Did you eventually get a response, or is this a situation that's still lingering for you?
This situation, it came up actually because there was an incident with another student that I knew, and when she went to go talk to her administrator, nothing was necessarily done. So when we brought this up to our principal in regards to us feeling like he was paying more attention to other minority groups compared to ours, then that's when he showed us the form in which, like, if it were to happen again, then this is like the avenue we would have to take. So it's not necessarily that I had to fill it out.
Okay, so but you did not get the other options of how you could make a complaint.
No, they made it seem like that was like the only way.
That was the only.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, I was one of the students Mr. Williams referred to speak, and I had a comment and question regarding of like reporting incidents. So I like changed my Zoom name because I wanted to like stay anonymous. Is it okay for me to speak?
Yes.
Okay. So to give more context, I go to a majority school, and I know as a student, students don't typically want to go out their way to report incidents of hate unless it has had a major impact on them, because they may feel like it'll be more trouble than it's worth, and they themselves have been conditioned to deem it as minor. For instance, a friend of mine has had a teacher constantly make arrogant comments regarding race and has linked it to competence. This teacher has had a history of making uncomfortable comments regarding race, However, students are hesitant to take action because when reports have been made, no action has been taken. The teacher has held this reputation for years, so many students I have spoken to feel like it's a cause to complain. At my school, there are many instances similar to these where students have experienced microaggressions from teachers or their fellow classmates. In the internship I did over the summer, the Minority Scholars Cohort talked about how when microaggressions build up and a person is constantly being told harmful statements, it diminishes their self-esteem. No one wants to build up the courage to talk to an adult and be dismissed and have their concerns pushed under the table. It sets a precedent. Given this, I want to ask how will schools work to ensure the system put in place to report incidents are efficient, accessible, and change will be made.
What's next? We still have a lot of work to do, especially since the system that is designed to protect the well-being of students may not be functioning at the optimum level that is needed to fully and comprehensively address hate and bias in our schools.
Okay. Thoughts?
Well, one
think
thing, you
this-
definitely
this
cut
is
me
good.
out of it.
This is good. I think
It's
that
really good stuff.
Ron, we
it's good
barely
stuff.
see you.
I think what I would do though, I would recommend just using the second student, because I think the material that Tiffany has leading up to it is all good. I think the second student gives a stronger example
Mhm.
of what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Now,
That
Lisa,
the frustration with the school system that some have become hopeless,
mhm,
and don't even want to report what's going on. Which is really the thing that's sad about that to me is that
mhm,
that's
mhm.
that's the way the adult community feels. And
Right.
it's sad to see that the children are beginning to feel that way even at that early age.
Why
That's
even bother? Exactly. So
Yeah, I
Lisa, what
agree.
do you think?
Hey, Tiffany, I would ask, is it necessary to get the students' permission?
No, because it was a recorded call. It's already online.
Oh, it's already
And then,
public info. Okay.
yes,
All right.
exactly. We just grabbed it. So no, we don't have to.
Sure.
And that was the one student that was able to speak because that student was referred outside of the SSL opportunity. It was only the SSL students that could not speak on the call.
Yeah, I think it adds great effect to what we're doing. Is no better than from out of the mouth of the victim.
And I think that's what's missing. Honestly, I just went to that meeting over at the county and it's a bunch of grown-ups talking. They can't
Mhm.
possibly have all the answers. We really do need to pull in children more or students more. I don't want to call them children, but
Mhm.
students more. I think that is one of the larger missing pieces.
So
Right.
Lisa, how do you think you're gonna be able to taper that and include it? How was?
Oh, no, I'm
I
not taking
can
that's the Tiffany Kelly project. That's like Spike Lee doing right there. That's a Tiffany Kelly.
you know what, Lisa? Okay, so Lisa, what do you
Ah.
think about taking out the first student in its entirety? Was there a point that you wanted to hear from that first student or?
You put the first student in. I put the second one in.
No, I put the second one in. I
Oh,
put the second one in.
I've been listening too long. I'm fine with that. But I do know that there was another student. I didn't finish listening to all of it. I got to an hour and a half. So I'm fine with taking it out, but I may add another one if I find a better one. How about
I
that?
think that's the one you were talking about, the one that I
No,
put in first,
never
and
mind.
then you wrote me back and told me to put in the student at this point and that point, but the points that you put in was the same student.
Oh no,
So let me.
no, but I have another student that I haven't shared with you because I haven't found it yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I see. Okay.
In my mind.
Well, let me ask you guys this. At this point, we understand that these students are saying two different things almost.
These are
One, the
two
first
different, yeah.
one is more complaining about confusing around the
The
forms.
process.
Well,
The actual
the
process.
process,
Mhm.
right. And then the other is more about being unresponsive to
Yes.
the
Yes.
And
complaint.
that first
And the
one was
complaint coming
really
from the administrator or
right.
teacher.
Right. So it is two different things, but kind of not either because If you show a kid a form and they go, well, no, then maybe you yourself should say, well, is there something that I can do to help you? But I get it. It is kind of different.
Well, I'm just saying, if you have victims of civil rights, you have been marginalized and abused by the system.
Mhm.
You're upset, you're distraught, and then someone
And now
says,
you gotta,
here's this, fill out this piece of paper, okay?
you
And
mean kind of how we do domestic violence victims and other victims of crime? Oh, okay. That's what you mean, right?
so that's what I'm saying. Okay, so I see to you all whatever you want to do. We have 6 minutes left. I do have a 3 o'clock hard stop, so I'm gonna.
Okay.
I just
I will
want to.
take out the first, do all the edits to the captions, and if you get another student, let me know.
And then I'm gonna send you the document, Tiffany, and after I get all the edits in, and if you can figure out a way to add it into the video, I will
I'll
have
try.
to back up playing it just in case.
Okay,
Our ability to be efficient. Okay,
got
going back to the screen. Thank you, Tiffany, for that.
Good
and
job, Tiffany. I like the video.
Yeah, good
Thank you,
job,
sir. I
too.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Ooh.
So
parent.
this
Oh,
is again Black parents and the parent let me see here, which one is this one? Tried to explain long as user. Oh, this is a parent who came to me directly and was he almost was in tears.
Hmm.
So again, doesn't want to, and I asked him if he wanted to come out forward and say, he said no. And so again, I think we need to respect the anonymity because folks don't want to put their business out in the street. Okay, again, I just highlighted the Black, so that it'd be evident when we're talking about Black students complaining no immediate action as seen by Tiffany's video. Another example, this was actually a white parent who was concerned, who came to me from another school saying, I can't believe white people are so racist. And I was like, yeah, it's weird, huh?
Wow, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Kind of like, I don't know if you saw Dave Chappelle's opening of SNL right after President Trump was announced.
I heard about it.
Racism, and he was like, yeah, that's weird, racism. Anyway, so moving on, another example. Oh, this was I know the person here again. So those are my examples. If we have a time crunch issue, we can get rid of some of the examples. So just think about what we can delete as we could go forward. And then the recommendation section, again, we try to couch everything. So we have hate bias for our county and law enforcement. Ron, I just took this right out of your suggestions. So I just asked you to go back over that. And then I just made this a little clearer because you're saying that we should have an anti-hate crimes commission.
Yeah.
With the state's attorney. So I just said 1, identify, dismantle, and work.
Right. No, that's perfect. Yeah.
I just saw a typo. Let me fix that. What happened?
And I need to focus on this for this interview, Lisa. So just be sure that I have the recommendations from us.
Okay. What did you just say?
The recommendations piece, there's an interview tomorrow with a reporter. I just want to be sure that I have a good handle on what we're recommending.
Oh, yeah, this is it. We're done with this. So, and then I added a whole sheet based upon the hate violence. So what I've seen is what I hear from the parents and the police reporting. The hate bias incidences that happen at school are not being reported to the police. So we want to make sure that's happening. And so that's hold the police, but it's also hold the county, the school district accountable. Also to better advertise. I think it's always important to work well with police. So I do a lot of ride-alongs with police. So to get to know what it's like. That's a great program that is underutilized. You only have to be 16 and fairly lawful to get in. And also ensure
fairly lawful.
Fairly? I might not make it. I don't know.
I love that.
You can't get in the car smelling like reefer.
Right.
So is that what it
Okay, now
said?
wait a minute.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
You just dated yourself because don't nobody say reefer, but all right.
Oh boy. It's the messaging. Okay, moving on to schools. I'm ignoring you because we have 2 minutes. Establish this and that, term limits. So I in my civil rights work throughout the country, we've always had parent advisory committees, and it strikes me that we don't have one for this district, which is strange. And the parent advisory committees are people who are parents who have real-time experience and knowledge about what happens. So that's why I put that in there. Anti-hate month dedicated were circle talks. That was who recommended that? His name is escaping me. Oh my goodness.
Joe.
Thank you. He recommended that, so we added that. And then, okay, I'll go through the rest of them. So these are again, he wanted to display a red stop sign, have random surveys. These were all great ideas from him, and so I just added that in there. And then, of course, we have enforced mandatory requirements for holding for hate bias incidents. And then there's something called the Wilma Hell Report that they spent gobs and gobs of money about how to deal with bullying in schools, and I don't think that they've implemented many of the recommendations. And to better advise the hate bias incident form. Advertise, sorry, because people don't know about it. It's a brand new form that just came out. So those were, and for the community ones are ones I added based upon my work is having people give us more money to the partnership fund, so we give more money out to the Black community and others affronted by hate bias, and also hold community meetings, which they don't do. We've had community meetings with Montgomery County's Muslim community, but not the Black community. And we also had some of the Jewish community, the LGBTQI plus community, but we haven't had one with the Black community. And should hold periodic listening sessions. So community meetings are when you bring everyone together and they talk about all the resources. Listening sessions is when you bring everyone together and nobody important talks except for the people who are affronted.
May I add one piece to that are accessible to the community? Because they love to have meetings at 1 o'clock on a Monday afternoon.
Wow.
Community and time and space, right? And Metro. So I'll put that in there. Okay, so what I'll do tonight, what I'll do right now is go through my emails, get through all of the additional recommendations, make a revised document, and then send it out tonight.
This is great, Lisa. Thank you.
Yeah, because Lisa, the version that I sent you has the ones from the church that you can use to put in. And I think, you know, if you're presenting, then you can kind of just like highlight one or two from you don't have to do every one, just highlight one or two from the different groups, because some of them are redundant already. They're duplicate. And
so Tiffany, you missed
move through that pretty fast.
You don't tell Tiffany anything because I gotta go. My client's looking for me.
Okay, all right, good.
Gotcha. We'll talk.
I will send you something out, make your edits. We have to do a dry run through on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, right.
I got a meeting I got to get into too. So thank you all.
Everybody.
Hold it. Are we in agreement that Lisa's presenting?
Whoever.
That okay with you, Tiffany?
That's fine with me, definitely.
Because we have Tiffany's video, she's gonna be playing already. So
I guess technically, yeah. So then,
right.
I guess
so
the Q&A, whomever wants to speak, then But yeah, sure, I'm fine with whomever. That sounds great to me.
Cool.
Yeah. We just thought it'd be
Back
more
to the
streamlined.
grind, guys.
So we
Y'all
good?
have a good one. Thank
All
you
right,
again.
you too.
Everything looks
All right.
really
Later.
good.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Thanks, Selena.